Hello guys, so in this section we are going to see what all entries in the logbook has to be made by the chief engineer. Okay, so this is one of our engine room logbook and chief engineer makes entries in this section where you see this is the daily report section. Every logbook might have its different format. You can see here in this it is given as daily consumptions. Similar thing is there, something more or less, but this is maintained noon to noon. Okay, here it is written noon to noon. So from 12 in the noon to 12 in the noon. Let us see in this one.
To every marine engineer out there, from junior engineer to chief engineer and electrical officer, we all know that earning respect on ship is very important. We all know fast promotions are very important, and we all know that इज्जत कमानी है, promotion चाहिए तो काम आना चाहिए, तो जूते पड़ते हैं, गालियां पड़ती हैं, and for that you need a good mentor. Sometimes we keep finding those mentors on board ship, अगर नहीं मिल रहे तो MNDFLIX है ना, Merchant Navy Decoded has launched a subscription model where you can find more than 30 plus courses with respect to your rank, helping you earn respect on ship. Please enroll on these free trial videos, watch these videos as per rank, and then decide whether you want to invest or not, with a very good flexible payment plan as well. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata.
So distance, how do you get the distance? You get the distance from the engine counters. How much engine counters have moved in the RPM counter multiplied by 24 hours. So this is the distance, 233 nautical miles. Miles by engine. So this is the observed distance, actual distance. This is the engine distance which comes from the engine counter. Okay, so he has calculated the slip from this with the formula, slip formula. Okay, engine distance minus observed distance upon engine distance multiplied by 100. So slip will come. Speed, that will be coming from the bridge. Okay, fuel oil, how much fuel oil the vessel will carry forward. So you will write here fuel oil consumed, how much consumption. So from carried forward means from the previous day, previous noon report. In the previous data, the chief engineer had 590 metric ton of fuel oil. So today from the flow meters he subtracted the value, and from the flow meters he calculated that 18.89 metric ton of fuel is consumed. So remaining will be subtracted from this, and 572.2 metric ton of fuel will be remaining on this day, on this noon. Okay, so this is the noon figure, noon fuel oil figure that we are giving. How does he calculate it? From the flow meter. Okay, in this logbook the flow meters are not mentioned, but in this one here it is mentioned. So you can see from the flow meters. So from the fuel oil flow meters, yeah, here this is the flow meter at 1600. So from the previous day's flow meter at 12 noon to noon flow meter. So this is the noon flow meter 3013300 minus say 2994023. This will give you the number of liters consumed during this period of time. Similarly, in the previous page, the noon figure will be there. Noon figure to noon flow meter figure he will minus and calculate, and he will get some values, say this values. Okay, so this is the number of liters, and then he will use the he will use it to multiply with density, and then he will get it in the mass. Okay, metric ton. So that metric ton value he will put in the figures consumed here. Okay, in the consumption figure. And then diesel oil data he has to fill. Chief engineer 88.98 he had yesterday. So 0.1 he consumed either in changeover or in boilers or something. Then he can write 88.88. This is this diesel oil remaining data. Okay, main engine running hours he get from the running hours. Main engine was running. RPM, average RPM 97. Total revolutions he got from the counters. This one, main engine consumption and fuel oil auxiliary engine consumption separately he has written here. Okay, now the lube oil data. So this is the fuel oil data, this is the lube oil data. Lube oil, how much he has consumed. Main engine lube oil remaining 7000 liters. Cylinder oil, how much consumed, 150 liters. This can come from the cylinder oil flow meters. Okay, or daily tank, from the daily tank also how much is that reduced, from that also you can get. Cylinder oil remaining in the cylinder oil tank. how much is the generator lube oil used. Okay, in the sump, if you have taken oil in generator sump, then you have to put the entry. Okay, for duty engineers it is important, whenever in their watch if you are taking oil in the auxiliary engine sump, you must make a note of it, either put in the remark section that oil taken in the sump 50 liters, oil taken in the sump 100 liters, so that chief engineer is aware when he is making the noon report, that during which watch how much oil was taken into the generator respectively. So for duty engineers it is important. From this the chief engineer will come to know oil has taken into the auxiliary engine, or you can make a rough note in somewhere while handing over, you can hand over. So auxiliary engine lube oil remaining this much. So basically what chief engineer does is he calculates the fuel oil data for noon to noon and the lube oil data for noon to noon figure, the engine distance data, and this all data goes in his noon report also. Along with that he puts that same data here in the engine room logbook. Along with that a chief engineer puts his signature here along with the master's signature. So chief engineer's signature, it signifies that he has checked the logbook and all the data he has put according to the requirement. Apart from that, chief engineer can put additional remarks also, important remarks like OWS was started, any important maintenance activity was carried out, or vessel entered into any ECA region or emission control area regions, or the vessel exited from the ECA region. Okay, or any such critical operation carried out, bunkering operation carried out. Okay, so in case bunkering operation carried out, he will have to make entry into this, add the fuel here in the daily report also, plus he will write here bunkering taken at this values. Okay, say cargo loading discharging operation carried out, so he will have to make entry into the remark section. So these all entries are done by the chief engineer. Apart from the duty engineer logbook, chief engineer also fills these values during the noon time. Okay, every noon time you have to submit the logbook, or chief engineer will visit the ECR and then he will fill the values in the logbook. So for fourth engineers it's very important that the noon values, the noon time values are very accurately taken and the counters are not mistaken. Here the counters, the flow meters are not mistaken. If they are making mistakes in the counters or flow meters, your fuel oil data depends on this, or the engine travel distance depend on this. So your chief engineer will get very furious, or he will get very annoyed with this if the data is not correctly taken from the counters or the flow meters. So be very aware when, if you are a fourth engineer, be very aware when you are writing the 12 noon data. From this noon data he is going to subtract from the previous noon data. So noon to noon reading is very critical when you are putting in the logbook. Okay, so and the basic, moreover the counters and the flow meters, not just for the main engine, for the boilers if you have a flow meter, for the cylinder oil if you have a flow meter, and for the freshwater generator if you have a flow meter, all these counters and flow meters are cross verified by the chief engineer, because they are directly reported to his reporting. He reports the fresh water, he reports the lube oil, he reports the fuel oil data. So these all three data has to be reported through these flow meters. These flow meters become critically important. So always check and cross verify whether you have taken the correct data. Okay, you can, what you can do from your side is, by checking, for checking you can subtract yourself only and check whether, say in the previous day how much was the fuel consumption from noon to last noon, you can subtract and check, and today, from today noon to last noon, you can subtract and check whether your counters are correct or not. Okay, so this is how you will make sure that correct counters are being taken. Okay, so this is important data that has to be filled by chief engineer. Okay guys, thank you.